AEW All In 2024. It is that time of year again, August the 25th, live from Wembley Stadium. I'm here to preview the pay-per-view and also give you my spoilers because I don't do predictions over here. And we're going to break down this card. Now, last year, the biggest buzz coming out of All In 2023 was what happened backstage, and it had nothing to do with what happened in the ring, which I thought there was a lot of great things that happened in the ring on that particular night. However, this year, what they seem to have done a lot better is build up their pay-per-view card. I believe we got within 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half, and we really didn't know the lineup for All In 2023. This time around, they have really thought about telling a story. There have been builds, proper builds to these matches. Now, are the stories really that good? Is up to interpretation, subjectivity, objectivity, whatever, I understand. But you got to give them credit for at least giving us a build-up. So as I am recording this on Wednesday night, as AEW Dynamite is on the TV, I wanted to make sure that there was not another match that was going to be announced for this pay-per-view. And as of this recording, about halfway through AEW Dynamite, I have not seen a new match. Okay? And I am also going to keep this spoiler-free. So there is a Collision spoiler that is out there somewhere. By the time you get this, I'm sure most of you will have already familiarized yourself with that, but I know this is going to be out before Saturday, so I am going to keep that tucked away in my pocket. You will not know the spoilers from Collision when you're watching this preview and predictions, in my opinion. And, did I just call them predictions? They're spoilers. So without further ado, let's get right into it. For the World Trios Championship, the Patriarchy, meet the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, and a Trios team to be determined. That Trios team that is to be determined will be revealed to us at the conclusion of AEW Collision this Saturday. So, knowing who that Trios team is, or what that Trios team, knowing the participants that are moving on to be in this World Trios Championship match, which will be a ladder match, I have to say that I am, as a spoiler here for myself, I'm going to spoil the ending of this match, even though I don't know the ending of this match, but I'm going to spoil it. Play along. I'm going to spoil it by telling you that I believe the Patriarchy will more than likely retain. And the reason being is because there is more story with them as the Trios champions. If I'm not mistaken, Mama Wayne is a holder of the Trios championships. I think they're doing some kind of a Freebird rules thing, which I think they had a problem with during the build-up for this. I think they stripped the Bang Bang Gang of the Trios championships. So, I'm very confused at the way this has all been built up. I admittedly have not been watching a lot of Collision. So I am going to pick the Patriarchy, although I do feel like if Jay White does return for this specific event, teams with the Gun Brothers, then I am actually going to change that to the Bang Bang Gang. So I'm only going with the Patriarchy in the event that Jay White does not return. If he returns, teams with the Gun Club, then you got new Trios champions in Jay White and Austin and Colton Gunn. But if it's Juice Robinson, and no offense to Juice, then I'm going to go with the Patriarchy retaining until Jay White returns to reclaim those Trios champions. For the FTW Championship, Chris Jericho will defend against Hook. If Hook loses, he cannot challenge Chris Jericho again for the title. I think we know what's going to happen here. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist, somebody that's not familiar with the way stories play out and whatnot. I think Hook is going to win. I think it's right there in front of us. It's clear as day. Hook is going to beat Jericho cleanly, and this is going to be moved on to something else. I think I find it odd that Hook is still competing for this FTW championship that is unrecognized by AEW as an official AEW championship. It is not the AEW FTW championship. It is the FTW championship. And so I look at Hook and I see a young guy that needs to step away from the FTW championship, this unrecognized championship. It needs to stop being defended. It needs to just be encased in glass in his dojo or in Taz's dojo. Hook needs to start using the beat me if you can, survive if I let you moniker, and he needs to just go out and start suplexing fools and getting more serious, because it's not working with the Orange Cassidy stuff, the goofiness, and he's kind of spinning his wheels. I haven't seen him evolve, and I know that, you know, there are instances where some people don't have to necessarily change, but for a guy like Hook, he is ready to take the next step. He can be the Braun Breaker of AEW. That's right, I said that, because AEW looks at some of the smaller guys the way that WWE looks at some of the bigger guys. So stay with me on this, okay? I know Braun Breaker is twice the size, he's bigger, he's got more an upside, he's got more charisma, but look at the way that they have Hook positioned. It's very similar to the way that they have Braun Breaker positioned. The only difference, in my opinion, aside from stature and charisma, is the fact that Braun Breaker has an officially recognized championship. Some might argue, at least for the Raw brand, the second most important championship, and Hook does not. That should change after he beats Chris Jericho and regains the FTW championship. For the AEW TNT championship in a coffin match, Jack Perry defends against Darby Allin. I joke that Jack Perry modified the title so Darby Allin doesn't have to. It looks like a Darby Allin TNT championship. It's kind of goofy, in my opinion, that they've modified these belts, or these titles. Oh my God, I said belts. It's kind of goofy that they modified these titles so many times, because I understand why they do it. It's very nuanced. It's very unique. But for a guy like Jack Perry, for these other guys to come in, like, I mean, even in MJF, we'll get to him later. You know, MJF coming in and modifying the International Championship, calling it the American Championship, and nobody in the executives' office or, you know, sitting above are going to veto that. They're going to say, yeah, go ahead and spend the money on making these new belts. Titles. Ooh, I'm slipping today. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day, so bear with me. I'm going to go with Jack Perry retaining on this. I think Darby Allin is going to move on to bigger and better things. He is going to be challenging for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at Grand Slam, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if AEW wants to do a title-for-title match. So I'm going to go with Jack Perry winning. Probably some nefarious activity here, you know, is going to happen. Some cheating tactics and whatnot. I think Darby Allin has been undefeated in coffin matches, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be broken at All In. Jack Perry's going to get the win. I think he still has a lot more to prove as the TNT champion. He's still got a lot more matches to come. There's a lot more that you can get out of Jack Perry as TNT champion than Darby Allin. Darby Allin has won the TNT championship far too many times. It's time to move on. I read somewhere that they're thinking of putting him in as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and I think that's a great idea. He's got everything that it takes to be in the top of the AEW. Everything. He exudes it all. He is a jack of all trades, in my opinion. Do it now while he is not feeling the effects of all of the bumps and the bruises that he's taken in his career. Strike while the iron is hot. That's my opinion. So Jack Perry's going to retain there. The Casino Gauntlet. The winner gets a shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Stand in line. You're next, and then you're next, and then take a number, and you're next, and you're next. They're just giving away these title shots. So it's like one after another. Boom, boom, boom. They're setting themselves up for television, at least, I hope. At least I hope so. So I guess they'll be next in line after Darby Allin at Grand Slam. So at least we know that they won't be getting the shot until after Grand Slam, presumably. Or maybe they're going to get it at All Out. So let's just pretend for a second they're going to get it at All Out, because I have no idea who's going to be in the Casino Gauntlet. I think the only person that I know currently is Orange Cassidy, unless something happens tonight on Dynamite or on Collision. And I didn't read those spoilers, so they weren't in-depth spoilers that I read. So I don't know. unless something happens backstage, video package, whatever. The only guy I know is Orange Cassidy, and I'm presumably Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, right? So let's just say, for instance, the winner of this Casino Gauntlet gets a shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at All Out in 2 weeks. Hangman Adam Page is going to win this. Hangman Adam Page wins. I don't see anybody else coming in currently aside from Kenny Omega. Is he ready, though? Is he ready to come back? Is Kenny Omega ready? If Kenny Omega is ready to come back, then Kenny Omega wins this hands down. But I think it's a bit too early. But a heck of a chance at a rematch between Bryan Danielson or a first ever. Is that a first ever match with Swerve? Would that be first ever? First ever in AEW? Heck of a match there. So I either go with Hangman Adam Page or Kenny Omega. For the AEW World Tag Team Championship, the Young Bucks defend against FTR and the Acclaimed. I believe the Acclaimed are only in this to drop a pin. Unfortunately, they are ice cold right now. They're ice cold. They need to switch up something. They're spinning their wheels. Billy Gunn looks frustrated. He looks flustered out there. They need to switch up. They need something. We got a veteran like Billy Gunn right there. You got two guys that were on fire. They were absolutely on fire a couple of years ago, and they just have not been able to gain traction. And the same can be said for FTR. Really. I think Young Bucks retain here. I think you get a lot more with Young Bucks retaining the championships, Jack Perry retaining his championship, keep the Elite strong, keep the Elite hot, and you build towards FTR and the Acclaimed having another match, and then maybe you get another tag team in there to battle the Young Bucks. But I got the Young Bucks winning that, retaining. For the AEW Women's World Championship, Mariah, it's gonna be May against Toni Storm. I got a video, I don't know if it's going to be out by the time this is out or not, but I got a video where I was talking about Mariah May being the face in this whole story. It's an interesting take. It might be a hot take. But she might be the face going into this event. Stepping all of that unique, nuanced perspective there, I'm going to step away from that. I'm going to look at the story as a whole. The story as a whole is Toni Storm retaining. The story where you can continue the story and keep this going, Mariah, it's going to be May, wins the championship. However, the spoiler on this match is that Toni Storm retains. She gets her revenge. I have a couple of other ideas. I have a couple of other scenarios I talked about in that video that's either dropping after this or before this. It just depends on how I edit. Mina Shirakawa could come out, side with Mariah May. Harley Quinn could side with Mariah May. I think Mariah May is going to get some cheers, though. It's going to be an interesting environment. Toni Storm, I don't know. Toni Storm, I have no idea. I don't know the reaction she's going to get. She's an odds-on favorite, but this is Mariah May's hometown here, so it's going to be tough. But I just, as I've stated in countless other videos in the build-up to this match that I've covered, I really don't feel like Mariah May is ready to be on top of the division like this as the world champion. In my opinion, humble opinion, she's been doing great, though. I'm not discrediting her at all. I have a lot of respect for her. I think this is one of the hottest storylines in AEW currently. But I feel like Toni Storm retaining, there's more there. And Mariah can get even deeper in her psychotic bag. And there's still an opportunity for her to win a couple of matches and gain a measure of revenge. But she attacked Toni Storm and beat the shit out of her with a shoe. She should not be winning the championship on top of that. Toni Storm gets her revenge, retains the championship. That's my take. For the International/Americans Championship, MJF defends against Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay. It's not that simple. I mean, it's not that difficult there. Will Ospreay. and Will Ospreay beats MJF like Ivan Drago beat Apollo Creed, and Alicia Toot yells, "Throw in the damn towel!" And they throw in the towel. No, I think Will Ospreay wins this. I don't know if he uses the Tiger Driver, but he might. And that might be a huge pop if he does. This might be where they pull the trigger on the Tiger Driver 91. Or the Storm Driver, or whatever they're calling it. And Will Ospreay wins the International Championship in his hometown. I think they kind of did this. It's a sucker's move, in my opinion. Everybody knew that Will Ospreay was going to win the AEW World Championship at Wembley Stadium. And they pulled out, and they decided to go with the international title instead. Those little suckers, man. Just have the balls to stay committed to making Will Ospreay your top face. Have the balls. Nobody has any balls.
None of you have any balls.
Good one. Will Ospreay wins the championship. For the TBS championship, Mercedes Moné defends against Britt Baker. Britt Baker's had boo-boo face. It's almost as if she knows she's going to lose. Mercedes Moné retains here. I think they still got fuel for this to keep going, this program between the two. Hopefully after this loss from as Britt Baker loses, then they can rev this up and have a good second match. I have all the confidence in the world they'll put on a great match. It just depends on where the motivation is for Britt Baker, because she's all but telling us that she's going to be losing this match. It's just she's giving off the vibe. For the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, this match, title versus career, Swerve Strickland defends his AEW World Heavyweight Championship against the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, who is going to be putting his career on the line. Career versus title. Bryan Danielson is going to win this one. I have a feeling Bryan Danielson wins this one. It's been building up to that point. He wins the championship. He is in the pantheon of champions for the AEW. I think it's a great move to further establish the AEW World Heavyweight Championship as something serious. He joins a list of surefire Hall of Famers in Chris Jericho, in CM Punk, in Kenny Omega, in Jon Moxley. I think it's the right move to make there. And then I think Bryan Danielson goes on to defend it all out against either Hangman Adam Page or Kenny Omega. I believe he retains that, and then he drops the title to Darby Allin in Arthur Ashe Stadium. And I think it's a heck of a way to do that. I mean, they could wait till Washington, which I believe is Wrestle Dream. But I feel like there's more money in Darby Allin going home and defending his championship. And it's like ever since I read that rumor, I've just got it in my head that Darby Allin is just going to be the champion now. And that Bryan Danielson being a transitional champion is not the worst thing in the world. He didn't even want the title anyway. We've been pushing him to do it. Just like we pushed him to get into that championship picture at WrestleMania. It's the same idea, right? We push him to do it. He does it. And then he drops the title to Darby Allin and he goes and gets neck surgery. I think it's fitting. But what do you guys think? All In is upon us. There's not a whole lot of buzz, admittedly. But as I went down the card, every match, there's either a championship on the line or there's some stakes. And I think that's good. And the buildup has been great. Let's see at the conclusion of this pay-per-view if there's a ton of buzz. Are we going to see Bobby Lashley? Are we going to see MVP? Are we going to see Ricochet? Who is going to show up? AEW doing a surprise at a pay-per-view, especially a big pay-per-view, should come as a prerequisite. We know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of who it's going to be. In the Casino Gauntlet, do we see Miro return? These are the type of things that they do. So keep your eyes on that. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you think is going to win? What's your sleeper hit for the match of the night? All that, let me know in the comments. Thumbs up on the way out, you guys. I'll be letting you know what I think post-show. And as always, there's going to be a lot more to come. So stay tuned for more.